Just days after the latest India-Pakistan conflict, Pakistan's foreign minister has flown directly to Beijing for high-stakes consultations with China, a meeting that will significantly shape the trajectory of South Asian stability. On May 19th, China's foreign ministry confirmed that Pakistani Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar is visiting China from the 19th to the 21st, during which the two nations will hold in-depth discussions on the evolution of the South Asian situation and its impact on peace and stability. Sources indicate the talks will focus on enhancing regional trade, security cooperation, and addressing the region's evolving dynamics. Facing multiple crises, foreign exchange shortages, an energy crisis, and agricultural disruptions from water shortages, Pakistan is likely seeking further Chinese support in food security, energy supply, and debt restructuring during this visit. China has historically provided loans, energy assistance, and built 22 energy projects through the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor (CPEC). Politically, Pakistan may urge China to continue advocating for it on platforms like the UN Security Council, including opposing India's unilateral actions in Kashmir and drawing international attention to India's weaponization of water resources. When India recently threatened to suspend water treaties, a Pakistani Prime Minister's aide hinted through media that China would not stand idle by if Modi's government opens such a precedent. China has since accelerated construction of the Mohmand hydropower dam, a flagship Pakistani project set for completion in 1 year after 6 years of work, drawing immediate attention from Indian media. China is also building the Kotla and Dimabusha dams in Pakistan, both dubbed Pakistan's Three Gorges, underscoring their strategic importance. These projects serve dual purposes, boosting Pakistan's domestic water resource utilization and economic cooperation with China, while also strengthening Pakistan's long-term strategic position in its rivalry with India. Upon completion, they will grant Pakistan significant autonomy in river basin regulation, diluting the effectiveness of any future Indian attempts to weaponize water treaties. Militarily, Pakistan hopes to advance a key objective during this visit, acquiring 40 J-35A stealth fighters from China. Since last year, the Pakistani Air Force has repeatedly signaled this desire, with Air Chief Marshal Zahir previously disclosing negotiations on the J-35A deal, suggesting the aircraft could join Pakistan's fleet soon. In April, Zahir met with Chinese Defense Minister Dong Jun in Beijing to discuss expanding strategic military cooperation. Recent reports indicate that amid ongoing India-Pakistan conflict risks, China has advanced the J-35A delivery timeline by 6 months, with the first batch expected to arrive in early 2024. The J-35A, a stealth fighter primarily designed for air superiority with multi-role capabilities, features stealth technology, long-range strike capacity, multi-sensor fusion, and compatibility with various munitions. It emphasizes network-centric warfare and distributed operations, capable of forming a kill web that enables a shoot-be-kill collaborative combat. For Pakistan, introducing the J-35A addresses urgent air defense needs against India and aligns with long-term strategic planning. Currently, no fifth-generation fighters are operational in South Asia. India's indigenous AMCA project is not expected to enter service until 2034. Russia's Su-57 faces production and technical hurdles, and the US has not approved F-35 exports to India. Pakistan's potential early deployment of the J-35A would create a decade-long technological gap, outclassing India's current Rafale and Su-30MKI fourth-and-a-half-generation fighters and potentially disrupting India's future fifth-gen procurement plans. Adding to this, while the Indian Air Force is large in scale, its equipment is a mishmash of systems, with main combat aircraft like the Rafale making up only a small fraction, and most units still relying on aging Su-30MKI and MiG. Pakistan, on the other hand, has long pursued a lean and elite force strategy. Through the J-35A's stealth capabilities and beyond visual range strike advantages, it could offset India's numerical superiority with qualitative dominance in local conflicts. In the May 2025 India-Pakistan air combat, Pakistan's J-10CE had already successfully shot down multiple Indian Rafales using China's air combat system, including a WACS, electronic warfare, and missiles, demonstrating the combat effectiveness of Chinese-made equipment. This has further strengthened Pakistan's confidence in upgrading to the more advanced J-35A. Furthermore, the J-35A's radar cross-section is significantly lower than non-stealth fighters, allowing it to launch attacks without being detected by Indian radar. Equipped with the PL-15E air-to-air missile with a range of up to 170 kilometers, combined with its stealth features, it can complete strikes before India's air defense systems can react. Additionally, the aircraft's multi-role capabilities enable it to carry anti-ship missiles to threaten Indian aircraft carrier fleets or strike critical targets such as Indian deep-field airports and command centers. With an operational radius covering the entire South Asian region, it can effectively shrink India's strategic space. From a strategic perspective, Pakistan has long relied on US-made F-16s and French Mirage fighters, but these are constrained by political conditions and high maintenance costs. Now, with successful combat experience, Pakistan is shifting to Chinese equipment while the iron is hot. This not only grants it technological autonomy, but also reduces procurement costs through cooperation like the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. For China, if Pakistan becomes the first overseas user of its fifth-generation fighters, it will set a demonstration effect for countries in the Middle East and North Africa, helping Chinese military industries break the monopoly of Western powers. In short, the introduction of the J-35A is not just an equipment upgrade for the Pakistani Air Force, but a fundamental shift in its strategic security mindset, moving from relying on Western's single aircraft advantages to leveraging China's systemized combat capabilities. This shift will not only show initial results in the 2025 air combat, but also reshape the balance of air power in South Asia over the next decade. In fact, beyond the J-35, Pakistan has its sights set on China's H-6K bomber. A recent proposal by the Pakistani think tank Defense Index put forward a bold and specific plan, purchasing 6 to 8 Chinese H-6K bombers to form the Pakistani Air Force's first bomber squadron, equipped with the YJ-21 air-launched hypersonic ballistic missile, to create a specialized hunting force targeting the Indian Navy's aircraft carrier battle groups. Pakistani media note that the YJ-21 has a range of 1,500 kilometers, enabling long-range precision strikes from outside enemy air defense zones. If deployed in Pakistan's southern Balochistan province, these bombers could launch a complete dimension reduction strike, overwhelming strategic attack against Indian aircraft carrier fleets from a safe distance, strategically trapping Indian carriers near their own shores. The YJ-21 uses a hypersonic dual-cone warhead with extremely strong penetration capabilities. Currently, even the US Navy's standard aircraft carrier air defense and anti-missile missiles struggle to effectively intercept it, let alone the Indian Navy's active Barak air defense system or land-based Russian S-4O missile defense systems. For the Indian Navy, the YJ-21 is a true strategic assassin-level weapon. Once launched in wartime, Indian carriers cannot escape. With a terminal velocity of 6 to 10 Mach and a warhead with hundreds of kilograms of explosives, the YJ-21 can, with a single hit, either sink an aircraft carrier or blow a large hole in its deck, causing severe damage and rendering it combat ineffective. As the optimal launch platform for the YJ-21, the H-6K bomber has an operational radius of approximately 3,500 kilometers, allowing it to take off from inland Pakistani bases to carry out safe long-range airstrikes. Compared to the Indian Air Force and naval carrier-based aircraft, which lack comparable long-range standoff attack capabilities, the addition of the H-6K plus YJ-21 combination will give the Pakistani military a new strategic option, striking Indian naval carriers from deep within its own territory without entering Indian defense zones. If India cannot overcome bottlenecks such as fragmented equipment systems and delays in acquiring fifth-generation fighters, its so-called South Asian hegemon status will face unprecedented challenges. Meanwhile, China, through this model of technology export validated by actual combat, is quietly rewriting the rules of the global arms trade market and injecting new variables into the international strategic landscape. That's all for today's program. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support means a lot to me. See you next time.